I wasn't hesitant to talk about this, and I don't really talk about it to any people, but I'm talking about it out loud here on my phone in my room at Valley Place alone, right? And I have a Samsung phone over here that just went boop 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 boop, and then the fire alarm just beeped, and I want to say how much of a shame it was to me when I moved in. And when I moved in here at Valley Place, I took a few classes and went to a group therapy session. In the group therapy session, a woman who didn't live here came in to run the session. And then a woman who I thought I'd lived here basically suggested sex for my healing. And there was only one other person in the group, and it was weird. And then that for a number of months, there would be one of the other people living here motioning for me to go in the alleyway with the other woman. And that's real. And so I only went to that group meeting twice. And I don't do no sex therapy, and I don't do that weird bi-sex shit. I don't do bi-sex, or I don't bi-sex. And then my case manager, who's not my case manager anymore, but she's still here. I think her name is Renecia Boyd, and or Renee Carter, one or the other, you pick, because I think they put her fucking fake ass shit in my thing just so she would know what's going on when I went to complain at City Hall. Anyways, check this out. Dig this. In an email, Renecia Boyd 1 in an email. And then it was all somebody else at the office after that. What's that about? Ace, Washington, D.C. Anyways, one of the first things I did, let's have a budgeting class. I was like, I guess, but I don't really have a budget. I don't have any money. I have no money. You know what I mean? I just got on city disability. I had like $470 a month. And everybody's acting like I have money. And then Renee Carson or Renecia Boyd says to me, you know, Nate, I had to give your clothing and stuff to other people that I was going to use the budget for you simply because you have stuff and they don't. He was a man about your size. I have no idea why she would give away somebody else's stuff when I just come in from a tent and a beating where all my stuff was burned, and I came and arrived here with a backpack and just getting on city disability here. Granted, I have gotten on federal disability with assistance from other people since I've been living here. And not the people that live or work here, people from who help as assigned from Social Security from the SOAR program, who help people with disabilities apply and do paperwork and all these things and make contacts and know what to do in disability paperwork situations with the federal government. Hoorah to the fucking SOAR program, Social Security Administration. Anyways, we have this meeting downstairs, and you know what Miss Carter decided to have? A budget meeting with a woman who doesn't even live here, but showed up looking like a bum, kind of like she lived here, with a cardboard thing like a science project when you're a fucking kid. You know, I got my cardboard science project, and they had to have like $1,500 in cash and shit, and put it in my face with only two other people in the group. You understand? Again, why would you do that to a person with nothing who's starving? And they won't even give me my allotment of food here because this guy Jerome, and I don't know who does it now, takes our shit from downstairs and hustles it out the door at night. And the staff knows it. Anyways, and that's current now. I don't know who does it now, but I don't go downstairs. I go to sleep. But we had a budgeting meeting. I'm like, are you kidding me? And then when I get on disability, they're trying to say Renee Carter, Renee Carson or Renecia Boyd, Tony Carter or Tonisha Carter, get all these different names, right? Dig it? You feel it? And Virgil Murphy or, you know what I'm saying? Like, it got complex to the point that I didn't get my housing, right? But they sure did copy my documents and get my signatures on lots of papers all the time, didn't they? So now I've got a third case manager coming from this company, from another agency, coming to be my new case manager to help me get housing again, supposedly, for whatever time it is. And I just don't feel like being hustled no more, and I need a valid representative who cares for fucking reality to be my advocate as a person with a mental health fucking disability and brain injury. Right now, I need fucking help when these meetings happen. Instead, I'm getting the fucking asshole eye and the fucking rab eyes from people. Not the rabbi or the Popeye. You know, is it left or right, red or blue? Or is it the Popeye, but the rabbis? And I don't want to get the rabbis because the rabbis are kind of sweethearts. Ooh, we're the rabbis. You get me? The Pope's men, same kind of shit. The men who wear dresses and like to have meetings with little fucking boys. Or meetings fucking little boys. Don't worry, the women fuck the girls too. Hey, and they get the nuns pregnant and throw the babies in the fucking yard. At least they used to. In Pittsburgh, I'm told. Good work, Mount Alvernia nuns. You suck ass. And as for your other asshole crew, you know, I get madder and madder and madder all the time. And why do you think that is? If you have a question, ask me. Contact me. I'm easy to find online. I have one criminal charge my whole life, and I've done good things with my entire life. I'd love to talk to anyone about it who gives a shit about human beings that are homeless. I just told security when I came in downstairs, thanks for keeping this human warehouse safe for me to live here. It's better than living in a tent, because I had my things burned multiple times in tents. They were also burning other people in tents here in Washington, D.C., drugging people and robbing people and just people disappearing. So thank them for keeping me inside here in this human warehouse in Washington, D.C., in Anacostia, on a historic mountain next to where Frederick Douglass used to live, one of the most important people in history. But I don't like being treated like a fucking asshole who needs fucking sex therapy and sex workers, or to have some weird woman who doesn't live here come in and flash around over $1,000 in cash when I'm hungry, and they have all this food on the shelf here in the room, and they weren't giving it to me when I asked. I said, can I have that? They're like, no, sorry. And that's Donnell King, too. And he's the fucking assistant director here right now. He is, and Renee Carter's still here, too. I mean, Renee Carson, of course. You know, y'all would not even understand homeless motherfuckers. And y'all don't care. Because if someone cared, I got people from church who are professionals up in the ranks, in the Secret Service, in the military, and in the DC, and in the federal government. Y'all watch my videos too, and not a single one of you has stepped forward to help me. I'm never going to church at Shiloh ever again. Because then y'all watch my shit, and I know I got family members watching me too for the NSA. Good job, rest in Virginia. Sucker ass. Y'all are alphabet agency people. I saw one of your drones come down the other day. Here it comes in your face. Blow! Here's your drone. Suck it. And then, you know, probably the worst thing to think about is that Redskins, the former name of the Washington Commanders NFL team, Redskins are the scalps they used to cut people's heads off of, take off their heads of Native Americans or people from here, and then they'd sell them to the United States government for silver certificates, which was paper dollars, which is now called the US dollar. So I think they should go full steam ahead, and instead of doing anything else, change the song to say, Hail to the Commanders, hail victory. Hail to the Commanders, fight for old DC. Because it sounds way better than the Redskins one. If you think about it being Native Americans, people's heads cut off, their women, men, and children, because they're bringing too many bodies in, or heads. They just wanted scalps just to cut them off and then bring the scalps to pay their wages and make them evil money. So the original song goes like this. Hail to the Redskins, hail victory. Braves on the warpath, fight for old DC. So be hail to the Commanders, hail victory. Braves on the warpath, fight for all DC. And so now this $36 trillion that's affected a lot of money around the world, including American prisons now exporting people to El Salvador and Venezuela, where there's no fucking way they're ever getting out or getting any real justice. Oh, did I say to you also that I hate red, white, and blue Democrat and Republican types? Now, I personally like the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are the best football team of all time. And today is Super Bowl day. And I'm just going home from church here in Washington, D.C. I live on the same mountain that Frederick Douglass used to live on. You can see Capitol Hill from up here. So, I'm not going to watch the Super Bowl. And I just had cheeseburgers, bacon cheeseburgers, and guess what else? Collard greens. And guess how I ate it? With disability money from the United States government, Social Security disability, because I have some brain problems. And now I can eat much better and dress much better and maybe get some tattoos and go to some more events like this one. Hey, have a good time. It went out. They said, and after all this, so won't you give me a smile? So when I was released from the Fairfax Adult Detention Center, I realized that 3 people directly associated with my almost entire life growing up in Reston, Virginia, were what you would call overseers, or maybe worshipful masters, or something like that, within the Fairfax County incarceration system. And then I started thinking to myself, that means that their parents would have been the overseers or rightful worshipful masters, or whatever they're called, in the incarceration system, the penal system. The penal system, or the torture system, in the Fairfax County justice system, called the Fairfax Adult Detention Center. And I thought, well, those same people, or their parents, or maybe even their great-grandparents, because that stuff doesn't really go out the family, they stay in the area, right? They just spiderweb out with their friends into the world. But so if you were damaged by the Fairfax Adult Detention Center, I know some of the families who did that to you, and they did it to me when I turned age 50 in their 1C psych ward, which I was released from after 62 days and released out of the Fairfax Adult Detention Center 3 years ago after 98 days with 0 charges. Then my friends said they wanted to make sure I knew that they were checking on me, that I was okay every day. And I thought, well, gee, that means if you were tortured at the Fairfax Adult Detention Center, which is called jail, if you live in Reston or anywhere else, which I grew up in Reston, Virginia from 1976 until I went to college. But I mean, I mingled in and out of there until I realized I was the anathema, the exile, the fucking whatever. I mean, them people tried to have me facing 15 years 2 years ago and 5 to 10 years 3 years ago. But then, so if you were tortured out there and you're ever curious, just reach out to me on Instagram or Facebook and say, hey, who's those families that tortured you and checked on you? Because I want to know, because I was tortured out there, or my friend or family member was, or they disappeared through the Fairfax Adult Detention Center penal system, which is Lord Fairfax's former personal prison system. See, DC had Lorton and Fairfax. Lord Fairfax himself would have the Fairfax prison or jail. And he's the one who owned everything to the west and north. Then you go a little to the south, and it's Halifax to the south and to the west. And this is old king time. This is good old Henry the fuck off, whatever, England, Angle land. The Angles, the Saxons, and the Utes. So the Jutes, whatever, the Angles, Saxons, and Jutes, the Germanic tribes, the Angle-ish, with all the different languages and borders. Did you know the King James Bible says that it was for King James, who is king of France, Great Britain, and Ireland? Did you ever know that? So, I'm going to go keep it Larry Bird and fly away. I'll fly away. I'll fly away. I'll fly away.